Sisters. This is Katie Weaver, and I am here with my
Wait,
co-partner in
I'm
crime,
hearing a
Kristi
bump.
Brower.
I'm hearing a fuzzy, bumpy thing. Just so you know.
Hmm. Let me move my mic. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, we'll try that one more time. Hey, everybody. We're live, and so it's a little different.
Sorry.
It's all good. We want good sound. This is Katie Weaver with True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. I am here with my psychic sister, Kristi Brower. Hello.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
Seems like we just did a broadcast. Oh, we did yesterday.
We sure did. It's up and live now.
It is. And that, by the way, was the Alyssa Turney case, and it
Yeah,
is so interesting.
sure
So
is.
make sure you go and find that. But we did come live today because there's been another big uh, step forward in the Vallow case. And so we didn't want to sit on this one for too long.
No.
Yeah. So yesterday, about this time, Lori Vallow Daybell was charged with two more counts, two more crimes. We're going to tell you what they are here in a minute. Uh, at the Madison County Jail, and then she was arraigned this afternoon. So that's what we're here to talk about. So Kristi's going
Yes.
to read for us what the charges are and what got them there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is, of course, the criminal complaint that was released just earlier today before the hearing. So, I'm just going to skip to the counts. So, count one is conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, which is a felony. This count is in relation to the body of JJ Vallow. The overt acts that the court recorded were in furtherance of the conspiracy to commit. So remember, this is conspiracy. This is really important to understand. She's been charged with conspiracy to commit these acts.
Mhm.
I really think that's where they're going to get these guys is conspiracy. So, in furtherance of the conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, and to effect the objects thereof, or more of the following overt acts were committed by one of the subjects of the conspiracy within Fremont County or elsewhere in the state of Idaho. Now, this is really important because when you have a conspiracy, you can be charged for something someone else did. And this will come up in this several times where it doesn't actually mention Lori's name, it mentions Chad's name, but that doesn't matter because it's conspiracy.
Right.
So, on or about November 26th, 2019, Chad Guy Daybell misrepresented the nature of his relationship with Lori Vallow while being questioned by the Rexburg Police Department during a lawful investigation regarding the whereabouts of JJ Vallow. Also, on or about November 26, 2019, Chad Guy Daybell contacted Melanie Gibb via phone for the purpose of requesting and or encouraging non-cooperation with law enforcement's lawful investigation regarding the whereabouts of JJ Vallow. Also, on or about November 26, 2019, Lori Vallow provided a false and or misleading physical location of JJ Vallow to law enforcement during a lawful investigation. That's when she said that she was with her friend in Arizona, which he was not. Also on November 26, 2019, Lori Vallow contacted Melanie Gibb via phone for the purpose of requesting and or encouraging non-cooperation with law enforcement's lawful investigation regarding the whereabouts of JJ Vallow. Also, this is all on one day. It's very interesting because most of this is all about one day, not quite all of it, but most of it is. There's so much more coming. But also
Right.
on November 26th, Lori Vallow contacted Melanie Gibb via phone for the purpose of requesting and or encouraging Melanie Gibb to prepare and or present false evidence to law enforcement regarding the whereabouts of JJ Vallow during a lawful investigation. And then on or between the dates of January 30th, 2020 and June 9th, 2020, Lori Vallow refused and or did fail to comply with the court order to physically produce her minor children, to wit, JJ Vallow, to the Rexburg Police Department or the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare in Madison County in Rexburg. So that is the overt acts in the first count. So count two is also conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, which is a felony. And this is in relation to Tylee Ryan. The defendants, Chad, Guy, Daybell, and Lori Vallow, and or another person or persons
Which
on or wait,
that is so interesting to me.
yes,
Other person, we're assuming, they're talking about Alex Cox, who's not going to be charged with anything because or charged because he's dead. But
right.
person or person.
Persons, yes. I
Interesting.
caught that too. That's interesting. So they are leaving that door open that possibly it's
Mhm.
someone else as well. So on or between the 9th of September 2019 and the 9th of June 2020 in the county of Fremont, state of Idaho, and or elsewhere, did willfully and knowingly combine, conspire, confederate, and agree to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence to which the human remains of Tylee Ryan, which is a violation of Idaho code. So then the overt acts relating to Tylee. In furtherance of the conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence and to affect the objects thereof, one and or more of the following overt acts were committed by one of the subjects of the conspiracy within Fremont County and or elsewhere. On or about September 9th, 2019, Chad Guy Daybell sent text messages to another for the purpose of disguising the destruction, alteration, or concealment of human remains on his property. Now, I believe that is the text message to his wife, Tammy, where he explains the firing of a gun on his property and he explains the fire and the digging by saying that he shot a raccoon and buried it and that he burned yard debris.
Mhm. Limbs.
Yeah,
Limbs.
tree
Which
limbs.
disturb people,
Yeah.
limbs.
Limbs,
Which
which
he did
actually
indeed
he did. Yeah.
burn limbs.
On or about November 26th, Lori Vallow provided false information to law enforcement regarding Tylee Ryan's attendance at BYU, Idaho, and or her current housing situation. So one of the many stories that Lori was telling about Tylee is that she was attending BYU, Idaho, and that she was living on campus rather than living at home, which is why no one was seeing her around. Of course, this was well past the time that she had been killed. Also honored between the dates of January 30th, 2020 and June 9th, 2020, Lori Vallow refused and or did fail to comply with a court order to physically produce her minor child, Tylee Ryan, to the Rexburg Police Department or the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare. All of which is contrary to the form, force, and effect of the statute in each case made and provided against the peace and dignity of the state of Idaho. Said complainant therefore prays that a warrant be issued for the arrest of the said Lori Vallow and that she may be dealt with according to the law. So, of course, she's already in jail, and so they didn't have to arrest her. They just had to serve her
Mhm.
and then take her before the judge. So that's what her charges are. These are just the beginning of charges by any means. This is just the beginning, but it's certainly a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of interesting things from those documents and also from more documents that came forward in the Boudreaux Pulowski
Yes.
custody case.
Hmm.
Melanie Gibb is now saying that Lori told her that she told Kay that she had cancer, and that's
Yes.
why she couldn't take care of JJ in order to convince Kay to take JJ. Yet
Yes.
another lie, just kind of an interesting one.
Hmm.
The other thing that we had not heard until now, which is very sad and interesting, is that Brandon Boudreaux, now remember, Brandon Boudreaux is the ex-husband of Melanie Pulowski. Melanie
Right.
Pulowski is Lori's niece, who we really expect will be coming up on charges shortly.
Yes.
And Melanie Pulowski, so they're in this ugly custody battle right now.
Hmm.
Someone tried to kill Brandon last fall. The going
Someone named Alex.
yeah,
Mm,
someone named Alex, Lori, Chad, Melanie,
some of them,
conspiracy.
all of them together. Hmm.
Yeah, Brandon and his children have basically been in hiding ever since, and a couple of interesting things coming forward from that. One is that Melanie Gibb is also now saying that Melanie Pulowski told her that two of her children had become zombies. Thank God Brandon got those kids into custody and into hiding, or
Yes.
you're looking for more kids right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the other thing we learn now is that Brandon helped to ID JJ. When JJ's
Oh,
body was discovered, Brandon was one of the relatives that was called forward to help identify him.
wow.
Uh, so our hearts really go out to Brandon for so many reasons. But my
Yes,
God, that'll last forever.
that will. That will.
Court today.
Yes.
There was a
Very
hearing
interesting.
today. Very interesting. It was all on Zoom, because of COVID. So
Mhm.
she was charged in Fremont County. Lori was charged in Fremont County. She is being held in the Madison County Jail. This gets a little complicated, so bear with me.
Yes.
The prosecutor for Madison County is Rob Wood, who is prosecuting Lori already in the other charges, the reason she's being held at Madison.
Yeah.
The special prosecuting attorney for Fremont County is Rob Wood, who is
Yes.
now prosecuting Lori in Fremont. He's also prosecuting Chad in Fremont. Chad,
Yes.
of course, is in the Fremont County Jail.
Yeah.
Okay, got all that straight? All right.
You gotta know, if you don't know anything about this, we're in rural Idaho, and Fremont County is not a heavily populated place. The biggest town is St. Anthony. It's a small little place, and so they often get help from bigger counties around the area that have, more attorneys and more, law-related stuff.
Well, and their district attorney is retiring at the end of this year.
Yes.
And so my understanding was that she did not want to take this case on, knowing that she wasn't going to be here to see it through.
Yep.
So that's a portion of why that's the
Mhm.
way this is happening. All right. So there was a hearing today. People in attendance were Special District Attorney Rob Wood
Mhm.
and the judge, Farron Eddins. Now, this is interesting because
Yeah.
when Lori was extradited back to Idaho, the judge presiding was Farron Eddins. And she and her attorneys had demanded that he be released from that case because he was also overseeing the custody battle, let's not even call it that, what bullshit, but the
The
custody
case.
proceedings that were going on where the Woodcocks were trying to, and were successful, I believe, in being awarded emergency custody of JJ were he to turn up, sadly.
Yeah.
He didn't. But that was the situation.
Yeah.
You must have some loud cars on your street.
There's a very loud car outside my house.
I
Sorry.
heard that. It's okay. Anyway, so they wanted Edens off of her criminal case because of that, and he did
Right.
recuse himself. Well, bad news, Lori. He's back on.
Mhm. He is, because this is a different case, so although he recused from the last case, and he may not have to recuse now because that case is,
Defunct. Yeah.
yeah, because turns out this child in question has been dead the entire time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see if she tries to get him to recuse again.
Yeah.
If he says no, I don't know.
Also in attendance, of course, were Lori and Mark, the big liar means. We'll
Oh
get to that.
my gosh.
And yeah, lying in
He
court.
had very little
Oh,
chance to speak, and in the few words he was able to say at this hearing, he managed to lie to the judge. So,
but that's going to get interesting, I think.
as always, fantastic representation for Lori.
Yeah, we'll get there. We promise. So there were four squares. The other square in the Zoom call was Colby Ryan and his wife, Kelsey.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
That was tough to watch. I felt
That
so
was
sorry for
really tough to
Colby.
watch.
I
He's
felt like Kelsey
he's the
was
older brother
torn.
of Kylie and JJ, just in case you don't know who he
Right,
is.
older brother. Yep, Lori's son, Lori's oldest son. Um, I'm sure he doesn't even want to call himself that at this point, but
Yeah.
I felt like his wife, Colby, obviously was showed great restraint. When it very first started, you saw him kind of zero in on his mother and just kind of shake his
Yeah.
head. But Kelsey, I thought looked like she was torn between holding her husband and tearing Lori's eyes out.
Yeah,
You
coming
know,
through the screen with her. Yeah, she looked very angry the whole time, but Colby just looked
wow.
pretty distraught the whole time. It was awful. I felt so sorry for him.
Mm. So when court started, the judge verified something with Mr. Means that I thought was kind of interesting and maybe even a little comedic.
Mhm.
Lori wanted to be referred to as Miss Vallow, or sorry, Miss Daybell. Miss Daybell. Now,
No, they clarified it to Mrs. Daybell.
oh, he called her Miss throughout the entire
I
thing.
know, but Mark Means actually said she prefers to be called Mrs.
Mrs.
Daybell,
Daybell.
and then the judge called her Miss
Called her
Daybell
Miss
through the
Daybell
entire
throughout
hearing,
the whole
which was
thing.
pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought so too. Like Miss Daybell. Well, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
There's a
I know. It was a
whatever,
strange
Lori.
exchange. The whole thing was a strange exchange.
Right. Well, I mean, Lori, we're calling you all kinds of things, so it's
Yeah.
whatever. Uh, uh, she did cry a little, which was interesting. It
Did
kind of
she?
She
It's
looked
hard to
like she
tell.
was crying, it's hard to know. She
It's hard
was
to
in a
know 'cause she
mask.
had a mask on, yeah.
She did have a shirt on today. I'm assuming she had pants on too that were not, jail she wasn't in her jail clothes today.
Mhm.
Why? Well, she has that right. Anybody who's going to court, if they have belongings being stored at the jail, they do have the right to not have to wear their stripes. And
Right.
so she had on a light blue long sleeved shirt.
It was the first time we've seen that, though. She's appeared in court several times in her jail gear, and then today was the first time she was not dressed that in her jumpsuit, so I thought that was interesting.
It is. So at the jail, they have a property room where each inmate has a bag of their belongings in it that, like, for example, if you bond out, they're going to give you your bag of stuff so you can put your clothes back on.
Right,
And so those were not the clothes that she was extradited in, which
right.
tells us that at some point, Chad likely took those clothes and brought these clothes. So at some point, some clean clothes were brought there for Ms. Vallow, Daybell, whatever. And but yeah, she actually did have street clothes on today, which
Mhm,
was kind of interesting. Her hair was looked to me like it was just like brushed out in finger waves, and she had
mhm,
it kind of like on the sides kind of pulled back, you know, nothing fancy. There's not a whole lot fancy to do in jail.
mhm,
So, no makeup, no jailhouse clown makeup today, but she did have on a mask,
mhm.
so we probably wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
That's what they read this stuff and he did
Mhm.
set
Criminal
bail.
complaint.
Yeah, I read the complaint. The judge did set bail at $1,000,000. So now she has $2,000,000 in bail.
Yep.
Now, to weigh that out, when you try to bail out, first of all, you have to find a bail bondsman that will sign on that would take that on. She hasn't been able to do that in the past, so it's unlikely to do that now. But
Mhm.
for a $1,000,000 bail, the bail bondsman would charge you around 10 to 15% in their fees. So that means Lori would have to be able to pay around 100 to $150,000 that she wouldn't get back. That's just a payment for the courtesy of the setting the bail or paying the bail. So to put that in perspective, she would have to come up with somewhere around 200 to $250,000 at this point to be able to
Right.
get out of both counties. So she couldn't do it on half that. She's not going to do it on all that. That's for sure.
No.
Especially since her cash cow is also, behind bars.
Yes.
But so another good steep bail for her, though. Uh, her the judge was unwilling to really visit that at the time, but he did leave the door open for Mr. Means to come back and revisit that later. He actually indicated that perhaps he would. That is laughable and a waste of everybody's
Oh
time,
my
but
gosh,
whatever.
please do not try it again. The last time was such a circus.
Or do. I mean, it was pretty fun, to be honest. But,
Mhm.
yeah. So her preliminary hearing will be on August 10th and 11th. So in this case, of course, she also has the hearing for the other charges, the Madison County charges, is coming up the first part of July. So that's coming really soon. And then a month later, then she'll have a preliminary hearing for this set of charges. We still believe there are lots more charges coming.
Yeah.
It was rumored yesterday that Chad would have more charges today. He didn't, but we do think there's more coming on the tail of this. So
Yeah. We'll keep
there's
an eye
lots
on
more to
that.
come. Yeah, yeah. Oh, and the lie, the big lie. Let's
Yeah.
not
We can't skip that because Mark Means, cannot be in a hearing that he doesn't screw it up. So,
right? So, at the end of the hearing, the last question he had for them was, "For Mr. Means, have you represented any other person charged in this conspiracy?" And Mr. Means said no, which was a lie.
yeah,
And of course, Rob Wood, who truly is sharp as a tack, and I love every second of him.
I know
Uh,
he's the best.
he's awesome. He stepped right in and said, "Oh, Judge, we're going to have to visit that because the last time we were in court together, Mr. Means indicated that he was representing both Mr. and Mrs. Daybell. Now, Mr. Daybell has a different attorney, but once upon a time, yes, Mr. Means was claiming that he was Mr. Daybell's attorney. And Means just
Mhm.
gets quiet.
Didn't say a word. Did
Mm-mm.
the judge asked him if he wanted to say anything about that, and he said no.
Yeah, no.
So, I don't know if it will cause a problem. It may not.
I don't know
Other than
why.
why is he such an idiot? Like, why would you lie to the judge? I mean,
Mm,
it was relating to other things. It wasn't relating to a criminal case. He could have just said that. It
right,
probably isn't a conflict of interest
right.
because it wasn't in this case that he represented both of them. But who knows? I
Who
mean, there are
knows?
consequences for lying to judges. So I don't
Well,
know.
the judge asked both of them to please write up a statement or an affidavit of why, that should matter.
Hmm.
And it's my opinion that I seriously doubt that Woods really says shit because, I mean, obviously he was going to point out that he lied to the judge because
Right, of
hello,
course.
but why would you want Lori to not have Means? He sucks,
He
you know?
does suck. I don't know.
So,
Only because it might end up in appeal later.
yeah,
If he can prove, extreme incompetence, because yeah, you can.
yeah,
Yeah. So I don't know, but that at the very end of the hearing was just like,
yeah.
you
That was a
had to
little
get one
jaw-dropping.
stupid thing in there, didn't you, Means?
He sure did. So that's what happened. That's what's happened in the last 24 hours with Lori. And, a few more bits thrown in there as well. Of course, as you already know, the police did execute a new search warrant yesterday out at Chad's property. They searched the house, the outbuildings, and around the outbuildings. So we did a little live out there yesterday talking about that. We don't know what they found. We do know that they hauled several evidence bags out. We
One person that was watching it said it looked like things that were made of metal. There were
Yeah.
questions about if it was tools. There was questions about if they were looking for shell casings. There were a lot of questions, but something
Tools,
metal, and they did search an outbuilding.
yeah.
So,
Tools is one thing we had wondered about because they're now saying they have now finally said that the Tylee's body was mutilated beyond recognition, and the way they were able to identify her body was by her orthodontist through her dental records. And so we do think that they were likely, among other things, looking for tools used to dismember her.
yeah.
Because as they're getting deeper into the autopsies now, they might have a sense of what tools could have been used. They're going to
Mhm.
want those. So,
And there have been some special things ordered in their autopsies, some things that aren't normally ordered in just a general autopsy.
mm,
And so that was reported last week, and that's going to take a little while make it
yeah,
longer before this information comes out. And it may not come out at all until trial.
yeah, yeah, it may not. So, and that's okay. We are very hungry for information, but at the same time, we want every bit of this to stick.
Yeah,
We want
we sure
the
do.
courts and the police, law enforcement to have all of the room they need to do their jobs because we want these monsters to go away forever. But more than anything,
Yeah.
we want justice for JJ, for Tylee, for Tammy, for Charles, for Joseph, for all of them, and
Yes,
for their families. So
absolutely.
we will continue to report, but we wanted to be
Yes.
sure we got this information out since it did just come out.
Yeah.
So I think that's all we've got for now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. But, we got to keep the updates coming.
That's right. Well, and we will. So thanks you guys for watching. This is True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. We will see you soon.